Flash that damn face.
Again, she got powers that could kill that girl in an instant.
Yeah.
And we've seen her do it. But
they kill kids in this movie.
They kill kids in this movie. So I was wondering, so she's just people. Or like somebody said in the chat, she just tripping over her own feet, knocking stuff over because it's so dark.
The nun is tall. I will give her that. She should have been to the NBA.
Yeah, she just tripping over her own two demonic feet, knocking shit over. Like, oh shit! Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. You're not gonna tell anybody about that, Ray. Double Toasted on Broadway. The great musical that everybody's been waiting on. No, actually, we're going to replace that poster right there. We're only saying that because we're going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club September 29th for a night of comedy. It's going to be very, well, all our shows have a big emphasis on comedy, but this one even more so. We're going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club September 9th. Going to be in the Red Room. The show is at 10 p.m. That's a Friday. Tickets are $25, and it is very limited space. I think we're going to have about 50 seats available in there, and we want to fill those seats because we want to make this a regular thing. It's an intimate show. I'm going to be coming out and talking to the audience and doing a little, I guess you could say a little stand-up in a way, but it's going to be, just a little comedy, a little different from what we do. And then we'll bring Oz out, and then we'll do a little more traditional double toasted stuff. And then we're going to probably have some people come up and do some comedy on their own, do a little open mic night, and let the crowd, the audience, judge how you do. So if we can make this a regular thing, we'll try to do it every other month, and we'll be in New York every other month, hopefully at the Broadway Comedy Club. That's if we can actually fill the room. So come on out and get your tickets. Let's go ahead and talk about the NUN 2. Now, thing about the NUN 2 is that I don't remember what the hell happened in the NUN Part 1. Bitch. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I don't remember very much about this movie right here. All I remember is just some tall-ass Marilyn Manson-looking bitch who's always standing in the corners and tormenting nuns. And, I almost forgot that this was part of the Conjuring universe, the universe that they got now.
Of course.
Yeah. Though they crowbarred into this movie that we're going to be talking about. But, this is one of their most successful entries in that film series. The Nun, Part 1, made a lot of money. But, this is I forgot that this is part of the Conjuring universe because this is a prequel that's set almost 2 decades before the Conjuring movies that we know today. This new one that we have here is set
1954, I want to say.
So it's set 4 years after the first movie.
Yeah.
In 1956. And it starts in Romania where the demon nun, and if any of you know about the demon nun, it's a demon that kind of likes to dress up, like a nun. I guess it's a fetish or something, and it likes to torment people. But it's she, he, they. I don't know what demon pronouns are like today, but they really love to mess with priests. Mm-hmm. And holy figures. And we'll just say she for right now, unless I'm proven otherwise. Now she's back to torment even more spiritual leaders and holy figures and priests and nuns. And it starts in Romania where the demon makes a quick stop to some dude up bad. It's I don't know what the dude said to her. I don't know what the history they have, but she stopped to mess him up really bad. And after that, she says, you know what, I'm going to love this. She's like doing a tour.
Yeah.
She makes
going across Europe.
Going across Europe. Just priest up, man. Where this movie is taking place is that she makes a stop at a French girls' boarding school where we learn a little bit more about this demon's past that might actually reveal on why she's doing what she's doing and also how to stop her. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer right here. And people, we will be back with our review after this.
She's the thing.
Got your...
This thing, it's come back for me.
By the way, when you see some scary shit in another room, when you see a tall, scary-looking bitch in the corner, Marilyn Manson, don't stand by the door where you just saw her. Had people learned nothing in horror movies? You know that's gonna happen right there. Talk about that shit across the room. Talk about this shit in another room.
Okay, I saw something.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Don't talk about this shit in front of the door where she can grab your ass.
This thing, it's come back for me.
What are you laughing about?
I'm just laughing how they threw her face in there again at the very end.
I'm still here.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Oh, so also returning in the movie is Taysa. I think that's how you say her name.
There's a couple returning actors.
Taysa Farmiga, who's the sister of Vera Farmiga, who's also in the series. She returns as Sister Irene here. She was in the first one, battling the nun, and now the church is asking her to go back and do this shit again. So as far as the movie goes here, I'm just gonna tell you, man, I was watching this. Better than the first one. We might disagree on this, but I thought it was better than the first one. I think at least it's still fresh in my mind, but I think I walk away remembering this one a little bit more because of certain aspects of it than I did in the first one. But still, man, I'm gonna be nice. I was slightly bored by this movie. I've been in movies where I think the first one I was completely bored in. Yeah. This one, I was slightly bored by it. And let me put that on me because first of all, admittedly, I don't scare easily by supernatural stuff. You know, I'm not even scared of The Exorcist, one of the scariest horror movies of all time. Now, that's not a bragging thing. It's just, I don't know what it is, man. I just don't, ghosts in movies and evil nuns and demons, they just don't scare me that much. So this could be a bias on my part.
Well, there's also a lot of gimmickiness behind the filmmaking in this, and it's tired.
You know what? And I'm going to get into that, and that doesn't help. That definitely doesn't help. But what really makes this kind of dull for me is that the movie just don't have no personality. How the you going to have a nun, a scary ass 7-foot nun walking around in damn Marilyn Manson makeup, and yet somehow this is going to be dull. And I tell you the reason why is because of what you said, man. Because there's a lot of things that they do that are tired. But what I was really, and I looked at this and I thought about it hard. I was saying, you know what? Because I'm not, you know me, I don't like to attack actors unless they really do something that I think is bad. But the characters in this movie, they just don't have any personality themselves. They're types that we've seen before, like, bullies, or they just don't have any real appeal to me. They're just there to look stressed out and fight evil.
Yeah, they're exactly what you think they're going to be, and they don't have any interesting angles on them.
I don't think so. I think with what we have here, most of the emotional depth comes from them talking about their backstory and in flashbacks. I don't want to hear that shit. Do something.
And it's tired. The thing that they say, it's all cliched stuff.
Yeah, no, it is.
Family. Your family.
Jesus Christ. All right.
I'm getting sick of these movies that are expensive. They have all the working, so who did a good job with this? The people who dressed the set, people who made the costumes, they really did their job, and everything, all this stuff for a good atmosphere is there, but it feels like a fun house. And even this, the magazine stand, which is probably the best part of the movie, that stands out like a sore thumb. It's like, what the is this magazine stand doing here? It's lit differently and stuff.
I don't know about that. I mean, because I didn't. There's a lot of stuff in the movie, artistry, production that I liked. But like I said, I'll come back to the characters with this, man. Like Tessa, what's her name, Farmiga. I like her in the movie. I think she's good. Her performance carries a lot of emotional weight. It feels earnest, but there's just not much to that character except that look on her face right there that she has for most of the film. And again, that's not an attack on the actor, because if this was a better written character, if this character had more depth, then I think that her performance, for what I would give her this for what she's given, which is not much. She's doing the best she can with this, man. She is doing the best she can with it. She's trying to get as much emotion out of it. It's just not much there for the character. And the same thing goes, and let me see if I can find her The same thing goes for Storm Reed. Storm Reed plays one of one of the nuns that, you know, you always got one, you know, in every movie about a nun, you always got one that's doubting faith, smoking cigarettes. I don't know about this shit. I wasn't supposed to be here anyway. You know, she's that character. She doesn't have faith. And that's all that she's there for. First of all, they build her ass up like she's supposed to be a bigger character and have a bigger role. Because she tells Sister Irene, you need me. and so as the movie goes along, I'm like, for what? You didn't do shit. What they really have her there for is, again, for what they do in these movies. She's the character that doubts faith. She doubts her faith. She doubts the faith. And by the end of it, she's supposed to be some big poster child for faith, you know, for having faith. You know, she's the one that's a believer at a certain point because her ass didn't get killed or something. You know, I like the concept of another character here. There's the guy that you saw,
Maurice.
Maurice or Frenchie.
Yeah.
The thing with Frenchie,
who's also a returning character from the first one.
That's right. That's right. That actor's name is Jonas Biguet. And well, you're French. How do you say his name?
Jonas Biguet.
Wow, that's sexy as hell, man. Say that again.
Jonas Biguet.
Jesus Christ, man. Making me hot
Getting
over
you
here.
hard like a lobster shell.
Hell yeah, man. I like the concept of this character. He was in the last movie. Thing is, he's an extremely nice guy. You know, he's the one that's standing up to the girls who are getting picked on by the bullies. Plus, every girl in the school wants this guy. But even though they're all, you know,
he's a sexy janitor.
He's the hot janitor at the school, which I don't think anybody's ever seen a hot janitor before. But he's that one.
Damn, that guy's attractive, mopping up that puke.
Yeah, man. He's the hot janitor that all the girls like, but he's also a really kind guy. He's a very sweet guy and a very good soul, except his soul is possessed by this evil. So I thought that was a good concept of trying to like protect this guy. It's a very tragic thing. I don't think that they, again, with a lot of things in this movie, I don't think that they met the potential of that. But, you know, it led me to realize, and I'll show you, and I'll talk about why this is important later before I pass this on to Julian. It let me know that, man, you know, with these horror movies, it's not about the creature. It's not about the scares. It really is about your characters, man. And if you're not, at least for me, because
you got to care about them.
Yeah. And these movies, look, these movies are making money. These movies are doing well. You know, people going to see them. So somebody's being entertained by them. So, you know, I can't really come in here and speak for everybody else. I just think for me, I would have been pulled in more had the characters been a lot more interesting. I don't know, funny, a lot more charismatic, anything. But the characters are just more of a one-note action and a look. That was it for me. But anyway, you want to talk about anything with the characters, or do you want to talk about something else?
I mean, I'm just going with the flow with you. I fully agree with what you said. I wanted to like these characters. The actors are all doing their job, like you said, but they're not written in a way where it's like you'll really care about them. Like there is a lot of interesting stuff that's been set up, and it just leads to nothing because they're bland.
Yeah. And now, okay, so you're telling me, looking at me and saying, well, shit, Corey, you know, it's not about the character. It's a horror movie, all right? It's all about the monster, and it's all about the demon. It's all about the creepy stuff. Yeah. So, you know, that's all I'm there for. I don't give a damn about these people right here. Maybe you care so much about character, but scare me. Okay, so, again, I'm not the person to really sit up here and tell you how scary this movie is because, as I told you, you know, supernatural movies don't really get to me that much. But I will give the movie credit because you talked about this earlier. The movie does have a lot of creepy atmosphere, but to be honest with you, I found this more funny than scary.
I admire the way that the sets looked. Like the atmosphere, I don't know, like it was pretty corny. Like the music was just like generic as hell, and it was very telegraphed, the filmmaking, I thought.
Oh yeah. Well, for me, I gotta tell you, man, I wasn't that ass on the theater who was bothering people, but I was laughing my ass off. Now, I don't know how many people scared around me. I know some people sitting next to me, they were laughing too. But I just love it because the demon got to a point where the demon stopped using demonic powers and just started punching people and just start tossing people across the room.
Yeah, like a Jedi, just like uses psychic powers.
It was like some Avengers shit. Or the, you know how the Hulk just gets mad and just tosses people across? Like, it was some, man, it looked like some hood shit. Look like some shit, all right? Because And because the demon would use her powers because she's got demonic telepathic powers, right? Yeah. And she can move shit with her mind, but it get to a point where she just said, she'd pick up. She would get, and I'm like, listen, I respect that. She would get tired of people. It's like she would be choking somebody run up on her, and she would just be like, you know.
Yeah, there was a couple parts that did make me laugh, but I can't even remember them because the movie was just so dull to me.
Yeah, well, that's now I enjoyed the movie inadvertently for that right there. You know, I enjoyed it for that. The movie was making me laugh, so maybe I got some enjoyment out of this in ways I wasn't supposed to. Because here's another thing about this demon: if she ain't punching people and knocking people across the room. Now this is where the scary part of the scares come in, where I thought the scares were weak, but I still found them kind of funny because this demon loves to knock over shit. That, you know, and that to me that's kind of a cheap scare because they do it for the noise and the shock effect. Yeah. So there'll be points where this demon is in a room. And I don't know why she does this because they show some points where she also just kills people instantly. But most of the time she has an MO. So most of the time in the movie, somebody be going down some dark ass, dusty ass hallway like you see right here. Somebody be creeping through the night, going through some, you know, something like that, a creepy hallway, and then the lights would dim, and all of a sudden you just hear. You know, she wouldn't attack. She just kind of like just knock
like a cat knocking things off the shelf. Just knocking
over shit. Yeah, just you don't believe me? I got a clip right here. You know, she with people. She likes to have you step up and then just push something down in front of you.
Flash that damn face.
Again, she got powers that could kill that girl in an instant.
Yeah.
And we've seen her do it. But
they kill kids in this movie.
They kill kids in this movie. So I was wondering, so she's just people. Or like somebody said in the chat, she just tripping over her own feet, knocking stuff over because it's so dark.
The nun is tall. I will give her that. She should have been to the NBA.
Yeah, she just tripping over her own two demonic feet, knocking shit over. Like, oh shit, oh sorry, sorry, you're not gonna tell anybody about that, right? But I think it's just, they just repeat these things over and over again.
It's like uninspired ideas.
Yeah, it's like I said, you know, there's several scenes where somebody will walk in, you know, they do the same thing. A door will open, or they'll see a dark hallway and think something's down there. They go down some shit they're not supposed to, and then the nun will, you know, knock some shit over and then maybe kill them, maybe not. But it does that over and over again in the movie, which is surprising because they actually have a good premise here that they could do. They have a good thing that they could actually go by, and something that I don't think they took advantage of. You know, I thought that they could have, because the demon is going across
Europe
on tour, and it's killing these priests like a serial killer.
Yeah.
So the Vatican or the Pope has all these all this evidence, these pictures of all these priests that are dying from one location to another, like a serial killer movie. Mm-hmm. And so the Pope comes down and talks to Sister Irene like he's trying to hire a detective.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, an investigator to try to, you know, solve this case and figure out what's going on and stop this demon.
Your eminence.
Find out what it wants and where it's going next.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Damn, that's low. What happened here?
That was quiet.
Yeah, P, they gave me a low clip right here.
They don't want you to hear it.
Yeah, but then they succeeded. Even she's like, what the f? She's like, huh? She's like, I didn't have a you said, Your Majesty or whatever, you know, your Popeness. Yeah, some of these clips aren't mixed very well, man, when they give them to me. But anyway, she's being commissioned or just pretty much assigned by the Pope where he said, you survived this nun the last time. I'm not going after her. So you're obviously a living miracle. So go after her and figure out what's happening and try to stop her. You know, this is pretty much what we see in movies where a detective is hired, a private investigator is hired, a superhero is hired, whatever. This could have worked out as a really cool procedural. Yeah,
the characters just needed to be more beefed up, and there needed to be a little bit more of a plot. Like there was nothing going on in this movie.
Well, that's what I mean by that. There was nothing happening, but that was a premise that they had right there that they could have took advantage of. This Pope coming in and hiring her to like come in and track down this demon. But see, the reason why they didn't is because they want to concentrate on the scares. Like they really came in and just kind of substituted story for repetitive scares.
Yeah, just like big old set pieces there's blood in there. What was this rated, by the way?
It was rated R.
Yeah, I thought so. They still could have done more with it, I thought.
I will tell you this, if we're talking about serial killer, the demon is ruthless. So if you are looking for scares, okay, that's, if you're talking to me, that's debatable. But if you're looking for violence or, you're looking for some kills, this isn't a gore fest.
No.
But
there is blood, though.
That demon is on a rampage, man. And sometimes it's just... Like I said, when this demon is, knocking over things and teasing people, the demon is sometimes very childish, man. I don't know if you remember, there was a point in here. There was a point in here where somebody was having a bad day. They were getting picked on. They got a shitty job.
Oh yeah.
This was probably the last pickup or drop off.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the nun just. For no reason, just say, you know what, I'm gonna make your day shittier. Yeah, and it was like, wow, man, just petty is demon right here. So I do like that. I mean, if you're talking about pure evil, I mean, it's childish ass evil.
Yeah.
But I thought that was that's something good. The guy just an asshole, this demon, man, right here.
The nun monster itself, like, you got to give it to him. It's iconic looking. They just don't. It's kind of like with the bad Hellraiser sequels. It's like, all right, that guy looks sick, and he's just walking around with a knife. Like, that's stupid.
I agree. I'll tell you this though. I think the movie looks good.
Yeah, it does. Cameras were really nice.
They had nice, expensive cameras. I think that this has a nice period piece feel to it.
Yeah.
This is 1956 in the countryside of France. Cool visuals, artistry to it. Like that part with the magazines. I thought that was actually pretty good. There's a part where the magazines are flipping and they're making first of all, they're making the form of a face. And then after that, they start making the form of the whole nun. And I thought, all right, that looks pretty amazing. I thought that the artistry right there was pretty cool. Yeah,
it's an interesting sequence where it's like the nun is like rising up through the pages.
Yeah, it don't make any goddamn sense. And I like the way the picture was pretty well made. Like she had a gorilla for a shoulder, if you notice it.
Yeah, she had like a rock face.
Yeah. That was actually pretty
like
cool,
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was pretty cool. Respected that right there. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I didn't think I'd be saying anything like this, but because I thought this movie was fun, I didn't give it a really high rating. But there's a better film of this type that came out not too long ago, and after seeing this movie, I got a better appreciation of it. You got any idea what it is? Want to take a guess?
It's definitely not The Haunted Mansion.
No, hell no.
No. Was it maybe The Blackening?
Nope. Closer to this. Anybody out there want to take a guess at what I'm saying? I'll give you a guess. If not, I'll just go ahead. Suspiria. No. You know what? A lot of people are not going to guess this. It's this movie right here.
The church has fought against this demon before. Yeah. The Vatican covered it up. You took the bait.
You know what? This movie's campy as hell, man.
I heard it was fun though.
No, you know what? When I reviewed it, I did say, I think I gave it like a high rental, but I did say the movie's fun and it's campy, man. It's corny, but first of all, it's doing a lot of things that I complained about in this film. First of all, Russell Crowe, whatever you have to say about his accent, he's fun to watch. And he almost kind of knows what he's playing, but he's a character. He's a character. I like him. I follow him around. I have somebody that is charismatic or somebody that actually has some substance to them. Somebody who has, is not walking around being one note or one dimensional in this movie. Russell Crowe is fun to watch in this film and he feels like a real character. That's why I say these movies don't always trade off to just put in the jump scares and the creature to make those the stars. I think a good movie, no matter what, relies on its characters if you're telling a story.
For sure.
Also, it's doing another thing that I was saying. The story here, it has that procedural feel. And I don't want these movies to rip off each other or anything, but it has that procedural feel to it, where you have this guy who's pretty much a detective of God walking around trying to figure out what's going on with this demon. Again, these movies have to rip off each other, but it does feel like there's something more than me just waiting for somebody to walk around a goddamn corner for something to jump out at them.
Or the camera to pan over and then pan back and go boo.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so maybe I still would probably not be crazy about this movie, but I'm a little more down on it after seeing something like The Pope's Exorcist. That's the Russell Crowe movie. I'm sorry, The Pope's Exorcist is what I'm talking about here, which is whatever its flaws are, it's a lot of fun. That is why I look at this. Not terrible. You said you didn't like this as much as the first one.
I didn't even like the first one, and I rewatched it yesterday, and that's still junk.
Okay.
This I did not care for at all.
What elaborate and then give your rating?
I think that it lacks a lot of pizzazz, they have all the scares that you'd want from a haunted house, but like you said, the characters are not there. The story is nothing. They almost at the end do an interesting creature thing, I thought, and it still was generic. Everything that this movie does, you've seen it before in another horror movie. Think of stuff like It. All the best stuff that you saw in that movie, there's ideas plucked right out of that, put into this.
Jesus, I'm sorry. I put you on the black screen right there.
More interesting than that movie.
No.
But this is going to be the first one for me. I'm going to have to give this some old bullshit, man. I didn't want to do it, but...
but they forced you. Yeah. They forced you.
They bored me out of my mind. This movie didn't go anywhere I didn't think it was going to when I walked in.
Well, I'm a little more forgiving on this movie than you are. I appreciate more the artistry of the film. I appreciate even some of the performances for what they were given. But as far as story goes, I thought it was lacking. Again, they traded that off just for cheap scares. But it's a good looking movie too. Hey, look, I got some entertainment out of it, even if it wasn't the kind they wanted me to. Like I said, I pretty much laughed, probably more than I got scared. But, for me, it's a rental. Yeah, it's just a plain rental right here. I've seen much, much, much worse. Like I said, I thought the first one was not as good as this one. But then I can't say anything because I don't even remember that one.
But even some of those interesting ideas, I didn't think that they were shot particularly well. I thought that the sets all looked really nice, but some of the editing just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. No, I can see that. It's one of those movies where I think that they target this towards a certain audience, and they think that audience just wants to jump. They just want and believe me, there are people that as much as I hate jump scares, for some reason they're effective for getting people in the theaters. Teenagers, kids, people who are easily scared by the supernatural. It works for them. Those movies don't really work for me. I don't think that's substance. I don't think this movie has a lot of substance, but I don't think it's terrible either. So yeah, I'd give it a rental. I'll probably forget about this one too. But hey, like I said, man, I'm
sure they'll make another one.
Yeah.
And to quote MF Doom in that one song, November Comes, I think, the Gorillaz song, none more for me, thanks.
Okay, that's... All right, John. I had something to end that with, but we're just going to go ahead and leave, man.
Let me just pull those brakes for you.
Yeah, pull the brakes. But you threw me out the car, man.
Boo.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go. Anyway, where's my?
Where's your nun box?
My nun box.
All right.